Yeah, let's just jump into this, all right?
I'm not gonna worry.
Welcome back to BakaTaka. Once again, this is the first BakaTaka since the recording that we did for BakaCon 2020.
BakaCon 2020.
It's been about 3-ish weeks.
We would have had a recording, but we had to work. We had to work.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
You guys had a weird day. So, all right, we're back at it again. We got Chase.
Somebody's phone is.
I didn't silence my phone. We got Chase. We got George. We got Eric.
That's me.
Yep.
We're
That's
just
me.
We're just gonna jump into it. We're gonna do this a little bit more organic. So I'm taking lead here because I already spoke for 25 minutes before we started about my job.
He's
So we're
complaining
just
about
gonna.
his job and how
Whoa,
much he hates
no,
it,
I'm not. That's
and
not
how
what.
he's so glad.
That's not what I said at all.
Come out.
This is a lie. This is a bold face. Okay, moving on. What have you guys been playing? Because I'll tell you, I think the only thing I've actually been playing myself was Ghost of Tsushima. I beat it.
Oh.
I platted it.
Oh.
You actually
Whoa.
I did. It's a very attainable platinum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like the infamous games.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I heard even if you miss something during the game, after you beat the game, it's just free roam.
Oh, it's so easy to
So-
go back and do things, and it doesn't take long at all. Like,
I mean, everything's handed to you on a silver platter. And like, hey, you want to search for the specific thing? You
It's-
can put on the gear and all the
it's
stuff and go do it.
so nice. The only two trophies. There were two trophies that you have to look up. There's really just no way to do it.
That's how most trophies are. Like trophies and achievements are these days.
Mhm.
Like you have to look some of them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the longest thing to get, because I finished the game and I did some heavy like looking for things throughout the game, so I didn't have a ton to go back and look for.
Right.
But the game gives you the follow the wind mechanic, so you can just search specifically for what you want to find and get the trophies that way. So I got all the collectibles. I think some of them you don't actually have to collect to get trophies, but I got all of the collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
Aside for the flowers to buy the vanity items. I didn't do those. I might go back and do those because they have announced some DLC for the game. Some free DLC. They don't plan on doing any loot boxes or any paid stuff, I believe is what I saw. But it's going to be a 4-player online, kind of like a horde zombies looking type thing.
Wait. For Ghost of Tsushima.
For Ghost of Tsushima. It's
a horde. Wait.
like a
zombies?
not like a zombie, but like a defend against the waves kind of thing. Sorry.
Okay, gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. A wave. Yeah.
And so the 4 heroes, none of them are Jin Sakai.
A survival game.
Yeah. So
Survival.
none of them are Jin Sakai, the character you play as in the game.
Okay.
They are 4 legendary heroes that have different classes. So there's like a hunter.
They're the heroes that were based off of the sequel to Eco called Nico.
They're the
don't
4
know
heroes
about
of
that.
light from Final Fantasy.
They're the 4
knows?
swords from Legend of Zelda:
Sora.
4 Swords Adventure.
A legendary hero.
Honestly, maybe, but probably not.
What else has 4
Anyway.
heroes?
I mean, so from how you're saying, it sounds cool in concept of like, hey, different. It's like a Mass Effect multiplayer, I guess.
Yeah.
Never played it.
It's that sounds exactly like Mass
when you
Effect.
play Mass Effect, you're like, oh, I'm Shepard. These are my basic classes that I can go through the game with.
Yes.
But once you jump into Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, it's like you got to survive 10 waves, but you got all these different classes that the game throws at you. Like all of a sudden you're a Turian Sentinel or you're a Batarian Vanguard.
You're not
Stuff you've never
Shepard
played
anymore.
before.
You're not Shepard anymore.
Yeah.
You're a main
You're
character.
Okay.
You're just a generic thing from this class. So I mean that might be cool in concept, but I don't know how much.
Well, you played a lot of Mass Effect.
I played a ton of Mass Effect 3. I love that multiplayer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
I've heard good things about it, but I've never played it. It is free though,
My
right?
brother
You don't
played
even
it.
have to have Mass
Yeah.
Effect 3 to play the multiplayer.
No, you have to have Mass Effect 3.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
My
But
brother
what am
played
I
a lot of
thinking?
it
I
too.
don't know if I would want to play Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer. Yeah, I mean, it might be one of those things that I'm like, hey, let's get the boys together and try this out once or twice and then never touch it again.
Right.
But I don't know how much I would invest into it. Because, I mean, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima too. But
Yeah.
I beat the first act
Yeah.
and completed the first, like, 100% in the first act area.
Mhm.
Haven't touched it since.
Okay. That was actually where I sat for a while. I beat the first area. I got maybe a quarter, 2/3 into the way in the second, and I kind of let it sit for a while.
Yeah.
Hopped on Twitch a little for a while. I got in there. I was watching a ton of people play Among Us. I love Among Us. I love watching it. The gameplay is just very interesting. Anyway, to Ghost of Tsushima, Peter Park TV on Twitch. He's one of the. He's
Okay.
not offline TV, but he plays with the offline TV gang a lot. I watched
He's like,
him play
right.
Ghost of Tsushima, and I was like, man, I got to get back into this game and beat it because Peter Park TV is about to pass where I am, and I can't let that happen. So I got in there. By the way, shout out to Peter Park TV. Love him. Fun to watch. If I mention him, I might as well give him my endorsement. He's
great
earned it.
BakaTaka George endorsement.
Thank you, right?
Seal of approval.
So I was watching him, and I was like, man, I got to get back into this game. So I hopped back in, and I ran through it. I went through the second act, finished the third act. They get progressively shorter.
Yeah,
So it's not.
Which means you're 50% of the way through the game.
Kind
Right?
of,
Which is,
actually.
I have no desire to jump back into it.
Even though you're halfway done.
Yeah, after doing the first act, I feel like I've done enough.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's
Like, I feel satisfied with the game.
I'm not gonna say you're wrong because I tend to agree.
Yeah.
I
the gameplay loop is fun,
yes,
but I don't think I want to keep doing it.
yeah. That's kind of how I would approach the game too. Overall, I would say, do I love the game? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think it's
a phenomenal
probably
game.
do I think it's probably one of the best games I've played on my PS4, which admittedly isn't too many,
right.
but I think it might be my favorite. I think I don't know. Persona 5 is really, really good.
Even higher than Death Stranding.
I think higher than Death Stranding.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean Death Stranding.
Oh.
Okay, still my favorite walking sim.
It's most people's.
But I think Ghost of Tsushima as a single player kind of experience, and again, it's totally different than Persona 5. It's you know
Well,
JRPG,
Completely
totally
different
different.
game, yeah.
But I think it was really fun. That being said, it does get kind of repetitive. You do the same thing over. As far as an open world kind of game goes, it didn't do a whole lot that really set it apart from other open world games. It just was very polished, I would say. It was a very well made world that made it very interesting to explore. That was the biggest thing it had going for it. It's just another open world game, but the feudal Japan skin that laid over it just gave it so much character, and I really enjoyed that.
You know, I did actually find that when I was playing the Infamous games that I did enjoy, just kind of messing around, jumping around.
Exactly.
So the Infamous games had environmental, it was fun to jump around because his character has superpowers and he has specific ways you can get around. You can grind on top of telephone wires and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of cool momentum stuff in there, and I saw some of that in Ghost of Tsushima, but it's a lot more grounded.
Yeah,
because
Ghost of Tsushima, it's more of the katana fighting.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's where the gameplay loop for that is where people find enjoyment. I think they could have had more systems in there. Have you ever played Lord of the Rings: Shadows of Mordor? I think
I have not.
I have played it a little.
So do you know about the bounty system? Or
The rival system.
The rival system where an orc might show up somewhere.
That would have been cool.
I think a system like that.
When that killed you the last time, shows up, and then there's a revenge thing. It time stops and zooms in on that orc and they're pounding their chest or something like that.
That would be that would have done that would have been really cool.
This Mongol captain or this Mongol general.
That would have worked very, very well.
I think a loop like that for endgame would have added a little more playability to it, but
I agree. One of my favorite parts of it was just the kind of a collectathon. I really like collectathon games. I like the attainable 100%. I loved Super Mario Odyssey because it was like that. It was a collectathon. It was go and just find all the moons, find all the purple coins. I really like that in the game, and I like it when it's, like I said, attainable. I don't want it to be something super tedious. I would never do that in Breath of the Wild.
yeah.
Could I go out and find every Korok seed? Yes. Do I want to go and find 900 Korok seeds hidden throughout this gigantic map? No. I'm never going to do that. It's not something that's feasibly attainable for me. This was absolutely doable, and I did it because I like that.
That's good.
So I would recommend the game to anyone if they can find it. Digital, obviously, you can get it anywhere. But physical, I think they're still having.
Oh, really? I never heard about.
So when the game first came out, they completely underestimated how popular it was going to be, and it was gone. So when I went to pick my copy up, I pre-ordered at GameStop. And
power to the players.
Power to the players.
Mm-hmm.
I pre-ordered it because I went in some time before that. I was like, what's this game about? I haven't heard anything about it. I don't know. And they were like, samurais, open world. I was like, stop. I'm in.
I mean, that's pretty much all everybody knew.
So I had it pre-ordered, but when I went in and picked it up, they said they had one copy. They had one copy that wasn't for a pre-order, and that was only because someone dropped their pre-order. They had no extra copies at all. And they said pretty much nowhere else had the game either. Like, it was not expected to do as well as it did, and it did extremely well.
Which I think is kind of a BS thing to see, because it's Sucker Punch Studio.
Right.
Like,
I mean, the last time I remember something like that happening was with like Monster Hunter Freedom Unite on the PSP.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
It's one of the latest Monster Hunter game on the PSP. The one that came out the latest, and so it was the most popular, and they weren't expecting it to be that popular because they didn't know Monster Hunter was like that big.
Yeah,
wow.
but it's just like they would have to know as this part, because like it's Sucker Punch Studio. They're a first party studio of Sony. Mm-hmm. They're it's every weeb's fantasy.
It kind of
it's feudal Japan. You're playing a literal samurai.
So, but yeah, I don't think Infamous had like the problems with keeping up copies like when Second Son came out. Well, it was more of like a
how popular was Infamous?
Because the original Infamous.
Because I was never around for the Infamous games. I wasn't PS.
They're pretty popular. They were definitely like above. So like there's like the let's say 60%. 50's average and stuff like that. So there would be like a 65-70%. I'd say.
Okay, that's a good term.
Yeah, they're not quite like an 80%.
Okay,
and so they're not quite. Even though like I enjoyed the games like a lot, except for Second Son was a little. It was
like right. It's a first party studio from Sony.
Yeah.
So
it's just like it's going to be a good selling game regardless.
Mm-hmm.
And with the setting area, it's like they should have known as.
I was very surprised. I'm happy I got on board, and I love the game. I love that they're coming out with the free DLC later this year. I can't wait to try the Legends thing, whatever exactly it is. Mm-hmm. That'll be interesting. But now that I finished that, I've moved back to Nier Automata.
Yes!
Dude, finally, just beat it already.
Jumping from that control scheme to Nier Automata, I don't know if I've ever had more of a shock jumping from one game to the other.
Well, I mean, like, so Ghost of Tsushima is a lot of patience. You're not pressing a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
To Nier, you're just like, I've got to be mashing something
constantly.
My index fingers should be like holding the lock on and shoot things really fast, but at the same time while hitting buttons.
And I keep trying to run in Nier, and I just keep turning my flashlight on and off.
I think when I play, I finally just got fed up and locked my little turret
to auto
fire. I think I just locked that key to be like, you're being pressed all the time. Just keep firing, little turret. Just keep firing.
That's amazing.
Because it was so annoying just to like holding the key.
Yeah.
I got too many other things to concentrate on.
I was committed.
I like it.
I was like, yeah, I'm doing this.
Nier is really good. So I'm kind of jumping back into that, trying to remember exactly where I am. Luckily, I haven't been out of it too long, so it's not a huge issue.
It's not a hard story to follow.
No, it really
Plus,
isn't.
the second run through is literally kind of a recap from a different
That really helped. I just had to remember where exactly I was in the second playthrough. That was my issue. But now I'm caught up and we're good.
And a lot of the run-throughs are just you're playing it as a character, a different character perspective through the story.
Exactly.
Who uses a lot more hacking mechanics. So if you're not a big fan of the like...
I'm bad at the hacking.
Well, I mean... It's not less if you're bad at it or not. It's more of like if you enjoy it or not. Because a lot of there's some people who just like you get to that point and they're just like they get bored of the game.
And it's just
but
I mean like 9S's part is really short too.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not that bad.
Yeah, I'm not worried about actually finishing it. I just need to sit down and do it. Yeah. What have you guys been playing? I know you played some Ghost of Tsushima. You already told us you kind of put it down for a while. I say you should get back into it.
I don't know if I'll definitely try it again for the multiplayer.
Yeah.
If I still have Chase's copy.
True.
But I don't know if I'm gonna pick it back up.
Okay.
Because at this point it's like I said, I feel satisfied with the game.
I think
it's a great game.
I would recommend if you don't feel like actually like picking up and just playing through the game, I would say just run through the story just to see how it ends.
Yeah.
If that.
Yeah, I might.
But if you're not going to explore the world,
yeah.
I don't even know if I would say the story is really worth running through. The story is very...
The story is very...
it's
really
one note.
simple.
It's a very linear one-note story. Stuff does kind of go down at the end of Act 2 to Act 3. Stuff takes a little bit of a change that I didn't necessarily completely expect, I would say. So I did enjoy the story, but it is a very basic plot.
Right.
Not gonna try to like
Not
get
going any
anyone's
further than that.
hopes up or anything. It's basic.
Yeah.
I'll admit.
I've heard it's really basic. It's more just the gameplay that keeps people going.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'll pick Ghost of Tsushima back up. I might just watch the ending on YouTube or something.
There you go.
Get a rundown of it.
Fine.
What else have I been playing? I picked up Elder Scrolls Online to play with the homies.
I saw that.
Yeah, because we dropped. Well, we didn't drop Albion. I don't know what we're doing with Albion, but we kind of slowed down on Albion. I think Big Cat and I were looking at other stuff that we've played in the past, or we thought about playing, or what looked good. And Elder Scrolls is like the only MMO we never really invested a ton of time into.
Right.
So we're just like, you know what? Just F it. We'll jump back into it. So we goof around on that. So I picked that up. Romance of the Three Kingdoms 14.
What is that?
So you know the warring states of China, the Three Kingdoms?
No.
Cao Cao, Liu Bei, and Sun Jian. It's about them and the early days of China called, the Three Kingdoms, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's a book from some Chinese dude.
Yeah.
But basically, Tecmo Koei keeps making games about it. Dynasty Warriors.
Okay.
Dynasty Warriors is about the same thing. But they just keep remaking a strategy game called Romance of the Three Kingdoms of the same warring state periods. But now they're on 14. So each game is different from the previous one, but there's a mechanic that stands out for each one.
Okay.
So like the Super Nintendo ones are like very bare bones basics.
Right? Oh, so this is like an old franchise.
Oh yes, this is from like 90.
So are there still newer games being made?
14 is the latest one.
14
that came out like the past year.
Oh, okay. So like really okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm tracking.
So basically, once they got to the PS2 era, that's when they started putting gimmicks into it. So one was like I think 7 was just like straight up normal. Like 8, you could role play it out. Like you take control of a specific officer instead of an entire kingdom, I guess.
Okay.
So then they kept throwing different gimmicks on it. Like they kept going back and forth between the RPG or controlling the entire kingdom. 11, they changed up the entire gameplay, where the entire layout of China was a tile system. So everything was like real time. So it was like you did things in real time on a tile system and built up tiles and moved around.
Interesting.
Yeah. So 14 went back to the system of 11. So it's a lot of like tile systems and moving around. So I played a bit of that. It's pretty good. It's a little buggy. It's I mean, if you know Romance of the Three Kingdoms, that's all I can say about it.
Okay.
Like, if you like conquering China for the 1000th time and murdering officers and fighting Lu Bu and losing at Hulao Gate.
Okay, yep. Oh, you lost me.
Or losing the North Plains to Cao Cao because he's broken. It's Romance of the Three Kingdoms in a nutshell.
You're just making up names.
These are all Chinese warlords.
Throwing up random words at it.
People will know. People will know. Jeff will know. Ask Jeff.
Jeff will know.
Jeff will know. What else have I been playing? I think that about covers. There's some stuff else. So I came to the realization. I don't know if I'm gonna be into single player stuff anymore. I don't know if I have time. Like,
you're not a real MLG gamer.
With how much I play like MMOs now, between like MMOs work and the amount of other things I want to do, like I can't invest time into single players.
I feel like I've seen this before with you. And like how you go through different stages. I feel like you're in an MMO phase, which is why you're saying this.
But I haven't been in an MMO phase in forever.
But remember when you were in the Azure Lane phase?
That was an Azure Lane phase. That's a gacha phase.
And you literally dropped it.
And I feel you'll get through this MMO phase, and there's gonna be something you want to play that might be single player. You'll be back to it.
So I know.
I feel like that's what it comes down to.
One of the very early episodes of BakaTaka, I talk about the phases I go through.
Yeah.
And how like city builders and grand strategy, real time strategies. I think I'm in that phase, And I think the next phase is going back to watching anime.
I know that you're out of the city builder phase because I stopped getting those videos on YouTube. I stopped getting Biffa Plays.
Biffa Plays, City Skylines. I don't get those anymore either. Those are finally gone.
YouTube is so weird. How does it know what I like? It's so
You know, it's got to be because...
Or does it just force me to like things?
Well, it's like, it probably has like some common context or like... You know, like how like we've been in like group chats before, like on Google Meets and stuff. Like so it's like now it knows, you know, we know each other.
These people like.
Well, so it's also like I said, I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online. Mm-hmm. Now I've been getting a lot of like Skyrim videos recommended to me. It's like how to make this OP build or do this early or how to do a pacifist run. All these gimmicks. I'm just like, I've never watched like Elder Scrolls videos before.
I feel like the question is though, it's like the chicken, not the kitchen, the chicken. it's the chicken and the egg story. Did those videos come before you started playing, or did they start showing up after? Because I can look at it. So I started playing Among Us with the boys. You should get Among Us. It's $5, Eric. You should just play once.
We'll buy it for you.
I'll return it.
We'll use the BakaTaka money.
I'll return it
for you.
We don't make money.
I'll return it.
Anyway.
You can't return it.
I can't really say. I know for a fact I started seeing Among Us being played before I started playing it myself. But I don't know if I saw videos of it being played on YouTube before I started playing it. I definitely saw it on Twitch. I saw it come on Twitch. I was like, that looks fun. Let me play it. I can't remember though if YouTube started those videos with Among Us before or after I started playing. I don't know what it is, but YouTube is onto something here. They're involved.
They're being very sneaky.
Just don't know how.
A lot of other websites do it too. Like Twitch does it.
Twitch, I know, does it. Yeah.
So
I mean, any website that's big and isn't doing it is not big.
Yeah, because like
if you're a big website,
they're not doing things that make it bigger.
If you're big, you're using this kind of information.
But like, Twitch is really sneaky about it because a lot of my settings changed on Twitch recently.
Really?
Yeah. So before it always defaulted to highest viewers to lowest viewers. That's what you would assume it does automatically.
Yeah.
But for some reason recently on mine it changed to recommendations for you.
I have seen that. Yeah. Recommendations for you.
I've never put it on that. And all of a sudden it was recommendations for you and it had Elder Scrolls as the top recommended for me. I've never watched an Elder Scrolls stream before in my life. like ESO, Elder Scrolls Online. Never watched it. I was watching some Black Desert stuff because I was playing Black Desert before.
Yeah.
And some random streamers were getting into that I used to like. League streamers were playing it.
Yeah.
Never watched an Elder Scrolls. Never mentioned it around Twitch before. All of a sudden, it switched it to recommended for you. Elder Scrolls Online was the top one. I was like, why are you listening in on me? I've never watched one of these. Like
that's so
data,
weird.
man. You gotta get the data.
Creepy. I hate it. Because like the only thing I used to watch on Twitch was like League streams.
Right.
And then the occasional thing that I was interested in, like Black Desert or Azure Lane and things like that. But it's like
people stream Azure Lane.
Oh yeah, they're really weird people.
The whales.
They
not even whales.
Oh yeah.
Not even whales. They're just weird.
How do you stream a gacha?
Just emulator.
No, I mean I know how, but like, how do you do that?
So let me go back.
What's the content?
Let me go back to the days of when I played Azure Lane.
Oh no.
So you can make fuel efficient fleets. So it's fleets that contained at minimum 2 ships, at most 4.
Okay.
And you would try to spend the least amount of oil as possible to keep running levels over and over and over.
Okay, because you actually have to use oil to play levels. If you don't have enough, it's kind of like you actually real-time wait. Yeah. Okay.
So you're trying to be as efficient as possible, and the whole content of Azure Lane was, I'm going to either grind this event to get points to do something, or I'm going to grind this level to get this rare ship girl.
Okay, so that was the content.
So that's the content.
Grinding.
So you grind and hope you have enough charisma to sit there and talk.
I think that's the thing that baffles me the most about streaming. I think streaming would actually be kind of fun to do. Like if I had a setup to do it, I don't think I would mind doing it. Just sitting down, just like actually just playing a game, talking to, I don't know who would show up, but just talking, have a good time. I mean, if I'm going to play the game anyway, why not enjoy it with other people watching, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if you can get to the point where you can make money doing it. That's awesome. But like to just sit down with no one else actually in the room and talk to a camera while playing a game, just like talking out loud to yourself.
Talking with no reply.
Yeah, that's gotta be
that's what this feels weird to me.
That's gotta be so unnatural. And I imagine if you get to the point where people have like, I don't know, even just tens of people watching and like saying things in the chat or whatever that you can actually respond to, I think that's totally different. Or if you're doing any kind of like multiplayer game where you're actually talking with other friends and stuff while you play, different. But still, like when you're just there and you're like that no-name streamer just playing, that's gotta be such a hard hurdle to get over.
Well, there was that one guy who did like a little bit of streaming, Dr. Foyer.
Yeah, Dr. Foyer.
Yeah. You remember him? Yeah, he did some streaming. And
he stopped that though.
Yeah. What's weird to me is like you're talking and having conversation with somebody, but you're not getting a voice back.
Yeah,
right.
It's a text chat.
Yeah,
because a long time ago, somebody in our friend group was streaming League.
Right.
And I was playing with her one day, and I was asking about a matchup, or like just talking out loud about a matchup, and somebody in chat was like talking to me about it. But it didn't occur to me that I could look at the chat and have a conversation with this person. And it was like during the middle of the game when somebody else in our friend group popped into the chat, like the voice chat, and told me to say, hey, somebody's like talking to you about the matchup and the Twitch chat. I looked at it and they're like, oh, no, this doesn't beat them, but you can do this in the matchup. I was like, it blew my mind that this person was having a conversation with me just talking out loud. I didn't respond to them because it didn't occur to me to look at chat.
Like actually read it. Yeah. I think that's a hard part too, to like get good at that actual like multitasking.
Yeah,
because it's a whole separate thing to do while playing a game.
Because I can sit there and talk out loud about my thought process in a game and just like let's play it. Yeah. But like having conversation with people in a chat,
totally separate skill.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is. Yeah.
It's a weird.
That's the weird thing to me about streaming. Like let's playing makes sense to me, but like streaming is just like I gotta I gotta interact with people.
Let's play. It's like there's little things you can do to.
I mean, let's play. You're just BSing out loud and talking about the game. You're just
you're
enjoying your time.
Reaction.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of Twitch does end up being like that.
Yeah.
But like when I'm watching, like I said, like when I was watching Peter Park TV, he's playing Ghost of Tsushima. It's like he just has to like look over while still playing the game and like read stuff and like he asks questions to chat. I'm like, to what extent is it like, is any interaction he's trying to do like, hey chat, asking questions kind of thing? Like how much of that is like forced? Like how often does he actually need chat's input? And like how much of it is actually like, I'm just asking to make you guys feel like you're involved.
Yeah.
It's a skill. It really is.
I think at a point it just becomes like a habit. It's just like one of those unconscious habits that you start developing like a tick.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, chat. And you just start blabbering on about.
And then in real life you're just like, okay, chat, what do I do? Do I go to Burger King or not?
Yeah. So it's just like I think a lot of that, if you do it long enough, it just starts
second nature.
Yeah, it just starts becoming a habit.
I think I've seen a lot of stuff, and I think streamers get a lot of flack for just, all you do is sit in front of a camera and play video games, or all you do is sit in front of a camera and you just talk to people and eat lunch and you just print money. And I'm like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, I mean,
like,
if you're making money, more power to you.
They're doing something people enjoy. They're not hurting anyone. Leave them alone.
You basically just shrug your shoulders and like you stick your hands out and you're like, jealous.
I mean, for a while I criticized people because I thought I was like, this is stupid. But then I was sitting there thinking about it. I was like, but if I had the chance to do that, I'd be like, I would jump on that.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like I would 1,000% do that.
Yeah.
So I mean, just like, how can I criticize somebody for doing this when I would probably just do the same thing myself?
It's awesome. Well, Chase, we talked about what we've played, and then we went to Twitch, but we never really talked about what have you been playing.
Yeah, screw you.
Have you been playing?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I wasn't actually like this a segue to talk about what you were playing. This was a segue to talk about that we should have talked about with you, but we're actually just gonna skip it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So let's just move on to anime.
Okay.
And we'll just. Actually, you know what? Time's up. Let's just end this. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
okay.
Chase, what have
Let's
you
just
been
mute
playing?
and get ready, Chase.
Chase, what have you been playing?
I'm scared now. No. So, okay, let's see. A few days ago, I played a little bit of a game that I've already played before. I think I was mentioning this to Eric, but I played a little bit of Vanquish on PC.
Yeah, you told me that like an hour ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what Vanquish is.
Vanquish is this Platinum 2010 Platinum Games. You're basically like a super soldier guy in like a super suit kind of thing, and you're fighting in like a sci-fi war pretty much. And the point of Platinum Games
is that like Crisis?
It's kind of like Crisis, but it's
it has a look of
more,
Crisis,
but it's a lot more anime.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the game that put like Platinum like on the map.
Platinum made Nier Automata.
Hey, look
Wonderful
at that.
101.
Yeah.
Vanquish is one of the it's a third-person shooter. It plays like it plays like a third-person shooter and stuff like that, but it's not a third-person shooter really.
It's over the shoulder.
Well, that's
third person.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like that's how it plays. It's over the shoulder. It's like Gears of War.
Well, yeah, but Gears of War is a
That's a
third-person
shooter.
Yeah.
Anyways,
we're saying the same thing. We're agreeing with each other.
Anyways, the reason it's not like a typical like third-person shooter over the shoulder game is because the game is designed around your suit, which is really powerful.
Okay.
So basically, what it is if you're not, it's similar to Titanfall. If you're not moving, you're playing the game wrong.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
there's points. So what you have is you have this slow down time meter and stuff like that. You have your boost meter, which is when your character literally like goes down on his knees and jet boosters come out of his back and he just flies across the map, like sliding across the ground.
I may have actually seen this before.
Yeah.
Okay, this is ringing bells.
You jump, you like slide into cover, and then you're just like, oh, there's like 3 guys here. You hop over to cover, slow down time, boom, 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 land on the ground, slide away, and so yeah, it's one of the most coolest games ever. It is by far one of the best Platinum games ever. Like Nier Automata is like the all around kind of package.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for like just straight up hype,
like hype action. Okay.
Like I said, this is like the game that put Platinum like in existence.
Dang.
Like, on the map.
I'm gonna have to look this up.
It's actually, I think I might have mentioned it before, but this is the game that got me into like interested in speedrunning.
Oh.
Because it was the very first game I saw speedrun on AGDQ in like 2011.
Which, by the way, SGDQ is currently going on.
Yeah,
right
it's really
now.
weird because they're not in a convention center. It just feels
It's
weird.
actually just streamers streaming on the SGDQ.
Yeah, but regardless, I saw it on
yeah.
AGDQ like 2011.
Okay.
And it's actually the game that got me interested in like watching speedruns.
Oh.
But yeah, back to
I mean, yeah.
whatever else you wanted to talk about Vanquish.
Vanquish is just like, it's super hype. I literally played it for like 30 minutes and stuff like that, but it reminded me of when I played it the first time and stuff like that. And it's like, man, like not a lot of games are like this anymore, you know? And so because like I was mentioning, it's a third person shooter, but it's not really like focused on the, shooter mechanics and stuff like that because of all the cool slow motion kind of like sliding around, all this actiony stuff to it. Yeah. And all of it is your suit is every power that you use from your suit is designed for one energy meter. So it all draws from the same thing. If you're slowing down time, same meter. If you're boosting across the ground, same meter. It's when you stop, you go into cover, and you take a second and you let it refill. And then
That's really interesting.
You're like, I have this much meter. I could probably do a slow motion dash and then slide into cover over here. And
okay, so it's a little bit like resource management.
Exactly.
In that kind of sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
And it's so much fun.
When done right, those games are fun. When done wrong, it gets frustrating.
Do you have an instance of a game that does it wrong?
PS2 Shinobi.
Wait a minute. Is this like the old Shinobi kind of?
Yeah, but it's the one where you go through the game normally. And you're like, okay, this is pretty fun. Then they throw the mechanic on you when you get this demon sword, and it's just like if you're not killing something and moving through the game, you're going to die. The sword will just kill you.
What?
Yeah. And there's actually points in the game where you can get lost in levels, and you're just like, well, I guess I'm dead.
I think the sword actually kills you.
And
you have to have the sword. It's like a key item. Like you can't just drop it.
Okay.
Similar to how like the Dark Souls games are and stuff like that, there's a soul sacrifice, which is like that version of the Dark Souls kind of games where it's like, there's all these stuff, but like you basically have to, because it's called soul sacrifice, you have to sacrifice some part of your character in order to gain power in a specific area.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So it's more of like where you're gonna put power and where you're gonna put like what is it, handicaps and stuff like that.
I think there was an indie roguelike game that came out like 5-6 years ago that was like that. It's just like you die and you get a new generation. But like you take one trait from them, but you have to put a handicap on yourself.
Oh.
So like you get a powerful trait, but you put a handicap on yourself.
Man, I don't know.
I think it's like Rogue Legacy. I think is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
Really
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Rogue Legacy.
Yeah, I think every time you die, you get a boon, but you get a handicap.
Yeah.
Huh. So
when you first started saying like, oh, like here's the poorly done version of it, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, is he gonna say Brink? Is he gonna be talking about like Brink?
I never played Brink.
Brink is like, so it's like really cool. This really cool concept where it's like there's basically like the slum. There's this whole like island. It's like futuristic-y. There's like a futuristic-y like tower, like really high tech stuff, and all around it is basically where like the slums are. So there's like the resistance, and then there's the police.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like how Overwatch played before Overwatch, but it's not as, you know, objective based. It's more of like, hey, build a custom character you want to play as, run across walls and stuff like that, and shoot each other.
Yeah,
and stuff. And it's really cool, but it's very sluggish.
Okay,
is what it is. So it doesn't matter how cool you're running across walls and stuff like that. It's like
kind of is it like Mirror's Edge kind of running across walls, like parkourish stuff?
Yeah. It's supposed to be like parkour.
Okay,
but it's like Mirror's Edge. Mirror's Edge is like the perfect like parkour game.
I've heard it's really, really good.
Yeah, it is really good.
Catalyst is like, it's good too, but it's open world, and it kind of tells you like not a lot of stuff is designed right. In
the Prince of Persia games, some pretty good parkour in it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Parkour.
Yeah.
What did? Correct me if I'm wrong, because I haven't played any of those parkour heavy games. Mm-hmm. They all came out around the same time, didn't they? Like the same kind of window.
Mirror's Edge came out.
Prince of Persia was a long time ago.
Yeah,
there's Prince of Persia games.
Yeah,
like early 2000s.
Mirror's Edge came out in like 2008, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it's a little bit after 2008.
Are you sure?
When was like
I don't think it was that when I was in high school.
When was like the whole parkour boom? When was that? It had to be like
that's when Call of Duty
2000s, right?
I think it was 2009 when the parkour thing, because I remember I was a senior in high school.
Because it just like parkour
what are we
all
talking?
of a sudden just
like are you talking about like the big thing where it's in like shooters?
The concept of parkour where it was like parkour was cool.
Yeah, that's like 2009.
Like, okay. I mean, it's kind of always been around because like there's like the older Prince of Persia games.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's been around, but like I think there was a French movie that came out where it introduced the idea of parkour and it went viral.
Like to the masses, parkour was just it was this whole new thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And that was probably also Assassin's Creed helped that a little bit too.
Yeah.
It was 2009 when at least when I remember it.
That viral. Sounds correct. I remember it being like mid to late 2000s, early 2010s.
Parkour.
But man, the hardcore parkour. When was hardcore parkour the thing? When did the Office parkour episode come out? So I watched something not too long ago. I went down a YouTube rabbit hole of parkour videos, and there was like a semi-documentary of parkour, and it followed, you know, just how it came about and stuff. And I can't remember when it was exactly, but I do remember specifically that it was like the Office parkour joke episode, like actually had like kind of a noticeable effect on like the world of parkour, because it. Like a lot of people looked at it, a lot of people saw that
it got the word
being
out.
It's so popular. No, it was a bad effect on parkour. It wasn't good for the community because it literally made fun of parkour.
Right.
And like they saw like a noticeable decline in how popular it was. Apparently, I'm like, that's actually kind of hilarious, but at the same time, like that kind of stinks. Because a lot
is getting.
So from what I understand, parkour, this is kind of off topic for the podcast, but I'm going to say it anyway, because I'm thinking about it. Parkour actually lined up heavily with the stunt industry for movies and stuff. Yeah. So people who made money doing parkour didn't really have a whole lot to fall back on. It wasn't like, oh, well, if I can't make money doing parkour, I can still apply these skills somewhere else.
Yeah.
They're not really applicable skills to anything but parkour or ultimate tag, I guess, is the new thing. And
oh yeah, I saw that.
There's drama in the ultimate tag space too. It's insane how some of this stuff just kind of like comes in and out. These fads are just absolutely all over the place. But I love it. I mean, I get some enjoyment. I see Ultimate Tag on TV. I'm going to be interested enough to at least look for a little while and go, wow, these guys are doing things I could not do at all.
It's one of those weird, like, on ESPN3 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are they showing now?
Like, seriously? And I think CBS or NBC or some channel is making their own super tag TV show, but the drama is like they stole it from the World Tag Tournament or something. I have no idea. It's weird drama in a weird category of sports that I'm not familiar with, but man, the fact that it's a thing makes me happy.
Hardcore. Hardcore poor George.
Words are hard.
Yeah.
Words are so hard. Well, I guess that's pretty much the end of the BakaTaka
We hit our time already?
Games podcast. We haven't talked about anime at all, but it's okay because we did all of BakaCon.
Yeah, and we're not an anime podcast. We're a weed podcast.
I had some anime I could talk about.
I know.
I had
so
some
did
anime
I'm caught up on everything I'm watching.
I guess we'll have to talk about it during the hand time.
I'm like 8% caught up on what I started.
What?
8% caught up?
Yes.
What does that even mean?
Well, I've seen like 70 episodes or something.
That's
only 8% of it.
70 episodes.
All right.
What has 70 episodes?
Well, you'll have to watch some Let's Plays to find out what he's talking about.
Well, we might talk about it, just to be clear on the podcast. We may talk about it.
You don't know what he's talking about?
I don't know, but we may talk about it on the Hat in Time. But it will be covered in a podcast as well.
Oh, yeah.
We're not gonna strictly hold this information to force you to watch.
No,
one of our Let's Plays.
We're gonna bait you to watch.
We're gonna bait you hard though. We're gonna let me redact everything I just said. We're only going to talk about it in a Let's Play.
We're going to
watch all of them. We're not going to tell you which one it's in.
Yeah, you'll have to watch it, and we're not going to tell you what number it is because we're not going to say the number.
We're going to have a BakaTaka wiki that has everything in the timeline where you got to watch
it. It's a fandom wiki.
You got to follow the timeline.
Yeah.
Look at all the episodes. Get all the information.
Play it back. Play them backwards. Hear the hidden information.
Well, as always, I've been George.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Chase.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of the BakaTaka podcast.
Smash that like button, hardcore.
BakaTaka boys!
Can't wait to have you again. Leave a comment down below. Peace.
Later.
Oh, bye.
Now coffee. See, this hurts my eye.
See right here. Yeah. My glasses keep leaning up against it. This is it.
Just pop it. Cut it out.
I know this feeling.
My glasses keep
Cut
leaning up.
it out.
Cut it out, right?
Cut it out.
And then I said.
Yeah. Yeah, is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his name?
COULIE.
What's his name?